Okay, so this is going to be a full review on the G-Wolves HTS Plus Ace. Long name. I'm sorry there's been so much G-Wolves content lately. They're like the only ones actually doing anything, and yeah. So I might start venturing into other topics just to grow a little bit, but let's get into this review. That's for another time. So I do have a code. I'm not sponsored by G-Wolves. I made the code myself. Um, It is code Your Cloudy. You can save $10, which is actually a lot on this mouse. This is a $130 mouse, so it comes down to $119, which at that price point does compete with things like the Atlantis, the Superlight, stuff like that. Just in worth it. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's just get into the review. None of that matters. So when you open up the mouse or the box, I'm a little bit tired. Sorry. You get your dongle. There's no problems with pulling it in and out. I always make sure I show that off with G-Wolf stuff. You get your blue braided cable. It is plenty long enough. I'll tell you that much. It is soft. It's nice. And here's the first con, but this is a con. Pro depends. Not a pro, but it might not be a con to some of you. Micro USB. Yeah. I really don't care much. Um, but yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. So here's the mouse. I do have the grips on it, and let's take this out. You get so much stuff, it's unbelievable. So here's what everything comes in. It's just this little envelope. You get I don't know if this comes in because this was a review unit. Um, you get oh no, you do get this actually. You get another daughter board, and you get a bigger battery. So the stock battery, which I'm going to go over the specs in just a second, is only 70 milliamp hours. This one is 170 in here, and you get another daughter board for it too. So the battery on this only lasts, I can't exactly remember. It is not a long time. I want to get the exact advertising correct. I want to say it's like 30 hours, maybe something around there. But um, yeah, it is not a big battery, but there is a bigger battery in here. And this mouse is 46 grams. And yeah, we'll get into the specs in a second. So you do get your pick. I know this is a very apparent problem. It's not a problem at all. So the mouse uses, so the on and off switch is right here, right? And you have to use a pick to turn it on and off. Well, not really, because the mouse automatically turns on and off. It's not a problem at all, literally at all. Um, it's not. You don't even worry about that. But yeah, so getting into the other stuff, you just get a ton of feet. Like you get tons of feet, and you get this little thing. If you don't know what this is I guess to charge it off your phone. Someone in the community requested to put this in here. Yeah, it's kind of useless, but whatever. Now let's get into the actual good stuff. So the specs on this mouse: Nordic MCU. That is a huge pro over something like the X2, something like the standard Lamzu Atlantis, the XM2WE, or however you pronounce that. Yeah, that is a huge plus. And obviously, you do get the grips in there in the box too. Also, Zippy 60Ms, which are great. I'll get into a sound test in a second. Huano side buttons, TTC Gold encoder, just like the 4K, and I'll show off the clicks and everything. This also does use eager debounce, just like the 4K, which basically means you will not have any latency issues. The click latency on this mouse is considerably better than something like the X2, the Lamzu Atlantis, anything like that. And there is motion sync with this mouse. So let's get into a click test. So right and left click, side buttons, scroll wheel, DPI. Okay, so I don't need to go over the standard DPIs. 400, I guess I will. 400, 800, 1600, 3200. There's software. It's on their website. It's not a great software, but it is usable. It's usable. So let's get into the actual shape now. And also, actually, I will show this. I have no wobble problems, nothing like that. There's no quality control problems. There's no flexing on the base, the sides. There's no creaking, no rattle, nothing like that. Everything feels great. The clicks are light and snappy. Side buttons are very snappy, quite light. Scroll wheel is medium. It's not super light. I guess it would be on the lighter side. It does have texture on the scroll wheel, and it also, there are bumps you can feel. So yeah, the shape same as the 4K. It's sort of like a shorter. I'm not going to compare it to the Superlight because I like the shape. I don't quite like the Superlight shape a lot. But I feel like it is a improved version. It curves better back here. It just feels more natural. But I guess the hump is sort of in a way similar. And the curvature, to me, it is like a reinvented smaller Superlight in a way, but not as Superlight at the same time. I will put the dimensions on the screen. I'll put them up there. And yeah, this is a comparison to the X2. You can see here. It is, smaller, just in general, and less of a hump, less aggressive, just in general. The feet. So the feet are 0.7 millimeter PTFE feet. They are controlled. They have friction. They don't glide super well, but they are very controlled and they are very, very smooth. So if that's what you're into, then you will like these. But like on my 4K, I actually swapped these off with some cheap AliExpress feet, which are great. I have a link to them on my Twitter. And yeah, wirelessly, I've had no problems. I've had no problems with my USB. I've had no problems with anything like that. And this is obviously a 46-gram mouse. That is a very, very light mouse. So having a smaller battery is expected. But if you would like, obviously you can change that out, and it is very simple. Just take off the feet, unscrew it, unplug it, plop it in, put the stuff back on. You're good. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not really a lot to this mouse. It is really just a 1K version of the 4K, but it is Nordic. And if your PC can't handle 4K, I mean, would this be something to consider? That is kind of up to you. Obviously you could just buy something like an X2, an Atlantis, something like that. But technically speaking, this mouse does have better performance, but obviously you're missing out on the USB-C, you're missing out on other stuff like that, bigger battery. So, there's pros and cons. Do I prefer this mouse over the X2? Probably. I know, I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. But, yeah. All in all, I'm not going to say this mouse is necessarily worth it, but I also don't think it is a bad buy, especially if you do get it $10 off using anybody's code. So that's just kind of how I see it. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you liked it, like and sub. I'm sorry there was not much content to this video. Everything's just kind of dry right now until like the new 4K stuff comes out, and but that's going to end this video. Peace.